KSBY News starts right now.
Good evening and thank you for joining us for KSBY News at 11. A head-on vehicle collision caused one car to become fully engulfed in flames. The incident happened around 2:50 this afternoon on Highway 227, just north of Price Canyon Road in San Luis Obispo. The California Highway Patrol says an 18-year-old female driving a Toyota sedan on the southbound lane took her eyes off the road for a moment. As a result, she swerved to the left and then to the right, causing the vehicle to go into the northbound lane. The Toyota hit a Volvo SUV head-on that was driven by a 54-year-old female. Both vehicles spun out of control and the Toyota became fully engulfed in flames. This is a shot from right outside the KSBY studio where you can see some smoke from the car fire. Cal Fire SLO was called to the scene and put out the fire just minutes after their arrival. The 54-year-old driver sustained minor injuries and was transported to French Hospital. The 18-year-old female did not require medical assistance. And in Santa Maria, authorities are investigating the shooting of a home. The incident took place on the 1100 block of West Williams Street in today's early morning hours. The Santa Maria Police Department says they received a call shortly after 1 a.m. and upon arriving, authorities found that a bullet had struck and entered the home's garage door. Luckily, no injuries were reported. This incident comes just days after 3 shootings happened hours from each other on Friday. And amid the violence which has struck Santa Maria in recent days, locals are joining together in solidarity and showing their support for the city. Today, more than 60 people of various Christian denomination churches gathered on the corner of Broadway and Main to pray for peace. One participant says this event is not only a way to show support for the families affected by those shootings, it's also a plea for gang violence and crime to stop. And in news across the state, a Southwest flight was diverted to Kansas City after several passengers were said to have acted suspiciously. The plane was heading from Indianapolis to Los Angeles when airline officials say multiple passengers did not follow crew instructions and continued to act suspiciously during the flight. Police say at least 4 people were escorted from the back of the plane. One person reboarded the original flight, but the other 3 were rebooked to a later flight after being questioned by law enforcement. Police officers and canines had to search the plane and luggage. And it was a sad day today for employees at the San Diego Zoo. 41-year-old Nola, who was one of only 4 northern rhinos left in the world, has died. Zoo officials say they euthanized the animal early this morning. The decision came after she had been suffering from a number of illnesses, including arthritis, and the rhino had called the San Diego Zoo her home since 1986. And covering the country, a hospital in Dallas came tumbling down this morning. Crews imploded the old St. Paul University Hospital in a matter of seconds. As you can see by this video taken right here, operations were transferred to another hospital after leaders decided it would be too costly to renovate. The structure opened in 1963 and was operated by the University of Texas Southwestern Medical Center. St. Paul became the first hospital in Dallas to complete a heart transplant in 1985. And over to Decision 2016, turning our attention to politics, the Republican presidential candidates are talking tough on ISIS and Syrian refugees. Today, Donald Trump defended his suggestion that Syrian refugees be added to a tracking database. Brian Moore has the story from Washington.
After the Paris terror attacks, the American political conversation is changing.
I want surveillance of these people that are coming in, the Trojan horse. I want to know who the hell they are.
Calling for a Syrian refugee database, Donald Trump also says he favors a return to waterboarding terror suspects.
I think waterboarding is peanuts compared to what they do to us.
National security is suddenly upstaging immigration reform in the political spotlight. With the holidays and primary season fast approaching, Trump and Ben Carson are still neck and neck, and not alone in their tough talk on ISIS.
I agree that there's no such thing as political correctness when you're fighting an enemy who wants to destroy you.
What happened in Paris could happen here. There is no middle ground.
While Marco Rubio takes aim on ISIS in his latest ad, President Obama says America can't change its values despite the terror threat.
The most powerful tool we have to fight ISIS is to say that we're not afraid.
But how to demonstrate that lack of fear, still up for debate. Brian Moore, KSBY News.
And the latest poll numbers also show that fears of another terror attack here in the United States are on the rise, and that more Americans now believe we're already at war with ISIS. And in news around the world, Brussels, Belgium remains on alert tonight under the highest level of terror threat. And security forces are keeping people off the streets in certain neighborhoods. NBC's Ron Mott reports from Brussels.
For the second straight night, the capital of Belgium is going to be on lockdown, essentially. Level 4 is the terror threat assessment here. That is the highest level in Belgium, signifying an imminent threat. The Prime Minister today telling the community here that that level will remain going into the first part of next week.
Our military and police and all the security services are mobilized in this difficult task. The investigation is ongoing 24/7. We are on alert and we follow the situation hour by hour.
What that means is the mass transit system is going to be shut down. That is going to have significant impact as people head back to work on Monday. For the past several hours here in Brussels, there's been some sort of police operation. We don't know specifically what was going on, but it does appear here tonight that the police have now opened up the streets to traffic. So this particular scene seems to be over. Again, schools will be closed on Monday. Mass transit will be closed on Monday. The Prime Minister asking for cooperation and thanking people for heeding the advice to stay home and shelter in place. That's the latest here in Brussels. Ron Mott, NBC News. Now back to you.
Coming up next on KSBY News, several organizations joined together for an annual Thanksgiving event. Details on how they welcome the entire community for a weekend feast. And later, Cal Poly students hit the waves for an assignment that's rewarding them in more ways than just a good grade. Well, our Season of Hope campaign is well underway, and we want to remind you to think of those in need in your community as you begin your holiday shopping. This Tuesday, we will be live again for a Season of Hope from the San Luis Obispo City Fire Station number 1 on Santa Barbara Avenue. We'll be taking your donations there, but if you can't make it out, we have options for you. We have drop-off locations set up throughout San Luis Obispo and Santa Barbara counties, and you can donate non-perishable foods and new unwrapped toys. Checks can also be made out to Season of Hope. Well, this is definitely a season for giving, and people in Nipomo are doing just that. The annual Nipomo Community Thanksgiving took place today at St. Joseph's Church. Dozens of organizations served more than 400 free meals to people from around the Central Coast. This year's event was dedicated to late Paul Teixeira. In 2011, Teixeira, along with several other members of the community, started this annual dinner.
A lot of people that just like to give their time and do good things, and this was a great idea when it came up, and so we just do it. We just do it. I don't know, it just makes us feel good to do good things in the community.
And the head organizer says the event gets bigger and bigger each year as more people continue to volunteer their time. And in San Luis Obispo, several local businesses are showing their appreciation of the community through health and wellness. A gratitude celebration was held at Wellbeing and Tea today. Participants had a chance to enjoy a number of free exercise classes, including yoga, tai chi, and tabata. For participating businesses, this was a way to promote health and wellness and give back during this Thanksgiving season.
We are really blessed to live in this area where people really do focus on being healthy and staying active. And so it's really lovely to be able to give back to these people who are, all in. They're 100% in for, living a healthy, active lifestyle.
And the event closed with a guided meditation activity. Dozens of people participated in the 5 classes that were offered throughout the day. And Cal Poly students were out on the water today offering their help and support to people who are visually impaired. It's all part of the university's iCycle program. Today's event featured 2 Cal Poly students and 2 locals who learned how to boogie board. The program initially started with kinesiology students taking out blind or low vision participants on cycling rides, but has now expanded into other activities.
It's all about gaining access to things that we enjoy, no matter what it is, whether it being going to an art gallery and the student explaining the art, or going and grabbing a zip line and flying down.
And while the university does give credit to those who participate, one student at today's event says the reward of helping others goes beyond a good grade. And whether you were out boogie boarding, paddle boarding, whatever you were doing today, it was beautiful out, some warm temperatures, but that's going to dramatically change as we head into this week. Here's a shot from Morro Bay Harbor, thanks to our photojournalist, Nate Asher. I'll have details of your microclimate forecast after the break.
The Season of Hope, brought to you on KSBY 6 and CW5 by CCPM, Heritage Oaks Bank, San Luis Bay Motors Kia, R&R Furniture, Sierra Vista Regional Medical Center, and Twin Cities Community Hospital.
Stops in Cleveland, Boston, San Diego, San Francisco, and Los Angeles. He becomes the first minority manager in Dodgers franchise history.
Can we just rewind for a second? It's all about the run fits. What is a run fit?
It's all about the fit run fits, the fit runs, and it's all about the Mustang Roundup coming up next.
Great way to ignore that one.
Yeah.
All right, coming up, a woman gets the reunion of a lifetime. We'll have that after the break.